What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we're back at Destiny 2, the Witch Queen, and we are preparing for the Vow of Disciple raid. I'll be breaking down all of the best weapons and loadouts that you want to have available to use when jumping into the Day 1 contest mode, which launches this upcoming Saturday, March 5th. Before we get started, if you enjoy the video and find it helpful, be sure to hit that like button below to help support the channel and hit the subscribe button if it's your first time. We are days away from the launch of Vow of the Disciple and trying to get prepared for a raid in which we have no idea what challenges will be presented to us. So with that in mind, how do we prepare? Well, let's start. While we may not know the mechanics and the challenges of the raid, we do know that we can expect to face off against both Hive and Scorn forces. So with that in mind, we do have some base knowledge of what we will need to do to best take on these enemies within these new challenges. Now, Hive enemies are going to include Exploding Thrall, Shriekers, Acolyte Snipers, Knights with Arc Shields and Physical Shields, Knights with Slamming Swords, Ogres with Void Blasts, Abominations with Slams, Wizards with Arc Blasts, and when it comes to Scorn, we'll have Chieftains with Varying Shields and Elemental Totems, Abominations with the Slams, which I already said in Hive accidentally, but by any means. We've got enemies with Frontal Shields, Void Snipers, and a lot of solar area damage from both Hive and Scorn, along with potential for champions to be present, which in Grandmaster and other high-level content, we typically see Hive Ogres and Scorn Abominations as the unstoppable champions, and we see Hive Knights as the anti-barrier and Scorn Chieftains as the overload champions. We can also expect to see the new light-bearing enemies that can pose their own unique challenges when it comes to the raid. So with all of that in mind, let's take a look at what weapons you'll want to have with you for your Day 1 attempts. Starting with Kinetic, we've got the Witherhoard, one of the best at ad clearing capabilities, and the damage over time aspect cannot be overlooked. Since anti-barrier abilities will come into play, we'll want to have something that can facilitate this, which is why we're going to be using the Adept Hung Jury for the additional Big Ones boss mod. A mod that you will definitely want to use, as contest mode will keep Guardians at a lower level. If you don't have any Adept weapons, well, you can put on a weapon that has Vorpal perk. This will also be a great benefit, as you will see many of the weapons that I showcased today come with Vorpal. The potential for snipers is always real, so I would suggest to have one in each slot. We're bringing Izanagi's Burden with us. When it comes to precision damage, outside of the Sleeper Simulant, the Izanagi's Burden remains one of the best options and has served as a viable weapon in many previous raid encounters. So if you have it, I would bring it. Now, since we'll be dealing with a variety of shields, the Arbalest can make for a great weapon to bring along with you, especially after its recent buffs and reworks. Now, the need to suppress your enemies will be high, so when it comes to using class abilities and weapons like grenade launchers, you will want to have blinding grenades to suppress the enemy, which will become very useful when we face off against Hive Guardians within the raid. Now, in raids like the Last Wish, we've seen many encounters rely on shotguns as a main source for DPS, which, if this is to be the case, shotguns like the Aikilos SG will serve as a viable weapon to use with its fast fire rate, and if you can add Vorpal onto it, that will only benefit you more. The Divinity is without a doubt a must-have for every raid team. It has become a staple in much of Destiny's in-game content, and I would expect no less out of the Vow of Disciple. Now, as glaives have become a prominent new weapon in Destiny, I'm sure there will be many Guardians out there wanting to take them in. While glaives do provide immense benefit, Like the ability to suppress your enemies and stun unstoppables, they also require guardians to be closer to their enemies, which might not be as frequent the case, so while I would suggest to bring the glaive with you, unless you have the exotic glaive, you might not end up equipping it. Even though particle deconstruction is no longer a thing, fusion rifles in a whole still perform very well. So if you have a Cartesian coordinate with Vorpal, or maybe an Adept Plug 1, well, I would definitely bring those along with you. What you should equip in your heavy slot is really going to depend on the specific mechanics of each encounter. So because of that, I want to take in a variety of effects for my heavy. While the overall goal here is maximum DPS, we want to think about potential obstacles that each encounter will challenge us with. So to no surprise, we will be bringing the Gallarhorn, the Sleeper Simulant, and the Thousand Voices. All three of these have more than proven themselves to top the charts in DPS. But again, it will really depend on the mechanics, which is why we're bringing plenty of options. Along with a legendary rocket launcher, I would bring along a heavy machine gun as well. I'm using the Adept Hothead and the Adept Swarm in case I need to free up the exotic spot for somewhere else. We'll be bringing a sword with us because there will surely be jumping puzzles, and having a third-person view can really come in handy. I'm also bringing in Lament, as it can produce exceptionally large DPS numbers, and was heavily beneficial in the Deepstone Crypt raid. Even though it's seen its nerfs, the Anarchy could still see a significant role in this raid as it has in many previous raids, like the Crown of Sorrows. The Anarchy has been host to numerous raid glitches in the past, and could surely do the same here, which is why we are also bringing the Boop Cannon itself, the Tractor Cannon. Made famous after its antics for yeeting Last Wish bosses, the Tractor Cannon suppresses and weakens enemies for a short duration after a devastating force push. This is something that can become very beneficial depending on what the mechanics of the encounters are. Now, beyond the weapons that you choose for your loadouts, you want to be sure that you unlock as much of your seasonal artifact as you can before the raid, as we might find some of those mods being way more beneficial to the raid than others. And there you have it, Guardians, the best loadouts and weapons to have for your day one attempts of the Vow of Disciple raid, which launches on Saturday, March 5th. I'll keep everybody updated as we get more details on the Vow of Disciple raid. You can tune in to the channel for live coverage of the world's first race on Saturday. I wish you all the best and luck with your own attempts. I hope you're enjoying all of the new content the Witch Queen has to offer. Let me know in the comments below what you're enjoying the most. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. If so, be sure to hit the like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated and really do help support the channel. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you some happy hunting.